Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to Dobotsu Kyoji, the Animal Liberation Temple. Good morning, and welcome to Dobotsu Kyoji, the Animal Liberation Temple. Just want to quickly ask folks to let me know if the sound is working okay. I've done a lot of work this week to try to work on sound. And just like last week, I'm going to allow about 5 minutes for people to share this live stream live while we're about to get started. We'll start at like exactly 9:05, and so if people can please share our live stream. Again, for those who are just tuning in, if you could please just check in with me to let me know how sound is working. I can change the microphone again if necessary, and please share. We'll get started right at 9:05 again. Good morning, Jackie, and good morning, Pastor Rob. Thank you so much for sharing. And like I said, we'll get started at 9:05. If people can let me know how sound is. I'm trying the Rode mic again. I did some changes to it, so hopefully it's working now. Perfect sound. Good. I also am using the GoPro currently, and I can switch to the iPhone if needed. Or I might have to switch to the iPhone and switch to the GoPro if needed. We'll see how the video goes. But like I said, if you're just now joining, we're just asking folks for the next 3 minutes to please post, to please share this live stream. We are only on Facebook this morning. I've decided that it helps a lot if I can not multi-stream. So if I stream to just one location, it helps out a lot. And then what we will do is we'll still have our YouTube channel, and I will edit this live stream, and then it'll be available for people to watch forever on YouTube. Good morning, Lester. So good to see you. Thank you for sharing. Good morning, Yolanda. Thank you for tuning in live. Good morning, Pauline. So good to see you. Good morning, Jess. So good to see you here live again, too. And like I said, we'll get started in just 2 minutes. I'm just asking folks who've tuned in to please share the live stream. Good morning, Boslaw. So good to see you. I know I'm repeating this again. We'll get started in 2 minutes. If folks can please share the live stream. And then we'll start right at 9:05. We're only streaming to Facebook Live, and then what I will do is I will edit the live stream and then share it to YouTube later on today. So please still subscribe to YouTube. Tell your friends who are not on Facebook that they could always watch the live stream on YouTube. That's super helpful, and we'll use YouTube as a way to catalog each one of these Sunday services so people can catch up and look through them, fast forward to the parts they don't want to watch. I'll also be like editing all this talking out because I don't think it's necessary, and we'll just work on doing services like that. $14 shares. I can see my inside. That may not even be accurate, but that's super. I'm super grateful for all you folks out there who are sharing. That's really helpful. Good morning, Neil. So good to see you. Thank you for tuning in live. We're going to get started right now. Good morning and welcome again to Dobutsu Kyoji, the Animal Liberation Temple, where we are at the service of the spiritual and physical liberation of our dear animal friends. I saw Neil's comment. I wanted to, just let them know that it's a royalty-free music that I just found on YouTube. I searched like royalty-free music so that I can just kind of borrow it and be able to use it. And so that's where that came from. Good morning, D. Ray Owens. So good to see you. Thank you for tuning in live. I'm very fortunate to see folks tuning in live. And for folks who are just now tuning in, I just wanted to remind folks we're only streaming to Facebook Live now. What we'll be doing is we'll be recording these live streams and then backing them up, editing them down, and posting them to YouTube. So let's get started with the updates. So let's start with our residents here. We have our duck friends, Reve, Greve, Amanda, and Renee, who are all doing really well. We have our dog friends, Lucy, Bernard, and Missy, also doing really well. Our 3 goat friends down the hill, Rob, Matt, and Philip, they're also doing well. Then, of course, our tortoise friends who are already out this morning. They are enjoying this warmer weather. Miyachi, Toshi, and Tommy, all doing really well. My 2 turkey friends here just finishing up breakfast. Priya and Harriet are doing well. And then, of course, we have Jax over here in the main aviary and Jimmy over here in the Cornish aviary. Both of them doing really well. My guinea fowl friend Wendy is doing well. Then we have the 2 roosters in the main aviary, which are Sabrina May and Elton. And then we have the other roosters in that area, Brad. Hard One and Magnus and Roger. And then in the new rooster area, we have Brad and Kuro. So they're doing really well. I'm going to have to fix my resident sheet here because we've moved some people around. Then I have my 2 rat friends, Yamabushi and Hasu, who are doing really good, well. My dove friend, you might hear her off and on, Sequoia, is doing really well. Then we have the Cornwall Corner with all of the Cornish hens and 1 rooster. That's Poppy, Aster, Ivy, Azalea, Peony, Cynthia, Lotus, Edward, Magnolia, Hazel, Sage, Marigold, Camilla, Hydrangea, Holly, and Zinnia. They're all doing really well. And then, of course, we have our 39 pigeon friends who are FP, Champagne, Appletini, Tulin, Sasha, Yo-Yo, Petey, Ricky, Spencer, Shambles, Beluga, Beth, Pee-wee, Cascade, Augustus, Frankie, Rufus, Harper, Elliot, Snickers, Boba, Kismet, Farah, Angus, Pandora, Jones, Sin, Harriet, Lago, Fred, Chamanto, Halo, Van Capone, Thimble, Percy, Pacino, Lacey, and Sasha the Second. They're all doing super good. And then, of course, we have our 4 foster ducks who are still doing really well. Oh, I'm sorry, Yolanda, that you're not doing so well where you're at. Here it is very nice right now here. All of my dear residents here give me a lot of peace. Like I had mentioned before too, the music is in the intro video is some royalty-free music. Maybe I'll try to post a link, or maybe I'll individually message Jackie and Neil, who asked about the live music, or asked about the music that I'm using for the intros, and I also use it for the credits reel. Other updates here at the temple. We're enjoying this really nice weather. It's getting a little warm during the day. That just means being a little bit more vigilant on making sure everybody has enough water and that the waters are clean. and accessible to everyone. We put out some extra waters for everybody, which means we're just going through more water, which means more trips down the hill to get more water, which means more fuel costs. That's just part of the summer routine. In the winter, we have to run the generator more and using fuel that way. So I guess it evens out. We're, one way or the other, we're going to have extra fuel costs, and the only fix to that is adding more water containers and adding more batteries. But we're just not there yet. We did some fundraising this past week that actually did, relatively well. I'd say we're about $500 short of collecting enough rent for this month. And then once I'm able to do that, maybe some human food. But the animals have food. Getting a little low on chicken food, which is concerning me, but I do think, I'll allocate rent to buying chicken food because that's more important. And like I said, we always prioritize the animals' well-being here. I had folks ask me questions this week about the sustainability of the sanctuary and temple. I think right now we're just going through like a difficult time as some of our more regular donors dropped away, but we did gain some new regular donors as well, but it really hasn't made up that difference. We're applying for another grant this year. If we get that grant, that will give us a lot more breathing space to make sure that we can always afford the necessities and the basics here. So we're just really hoping for that. So at the very least, folks can just pray that we do receive our grant. If folks do have the ability to donate, that's great, really helpful. But if you don't, sharing our live stream, sharing our posts, and just getting that message into the front of the right person who can donate it if they have the ability to. Already out of my coffee. So let us get started here. Those are all the updates, unless anybody else has them. I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day, especially my own mother. She's regularly tunes in here at our live stream. Is always sharing our live stream, is extremely supportive of the temple here. So I'm very blessed to have a wonderful mother. I also wanted to, express my wishes, to all of the non-human animal mothers, that they too are having a happy Mother's Day and are able to live more free of the exploitation that we inflict on them. And I know we have some mothers that are visiting the little nests that they make inside of the rafters of my house. So we have little wild birds that are making nests, and so I hope that the blessings to those mothers are received on this special day as well. Let's get started with the prayers portion of this. One thing I wanted to mention, I wanted to add a section to the format of our services, and I'll, lit out. I think I'm going to make a small guide for these services that people can follow along, so they know, where they are at in this service. But I wanted to add a portion of this. Usually, we do the updates of all the animals and the updates on the temple and any other announcements. And then we start with the prayers, and then we do a short lecture, and then we do the closing prayers, and then we do a quick sanctuary tour. But I wanted to add a section in here. So after the prayers, if anybody has any prayer requests, the temple wants to honor those and set aside a few moments to dedicate some prayers to the folks out there who may be in need of such thing. So those will be done after the Vajrasattva purification mantra, and then we will dedicate prayers to individuals. If you have any prayer requests, I should have announced that earlier so people have time to type that into the comments. But we will do it in that section of it. But let us start with the recitation of the sutras and prayers that are, of course, always dedicated to our dear animal friends. Both our companion animal friends here at the temple, as well as they're at home with you folks, and as well as any wild animals in earshot that may be able to hear these prayers as they are meant for them and are of great benefit to them. We'll start with the recitation of the Great Heart of Wisdom Sutra found on page 4 of the Animal Liberation Temple Prayer Book. Maka hanya haramita shingyo kanji zai bosatsu gyojin hanya haramita shin jisho kengo onkai kudoi sai kuyaku jari shi shiki fuku kufu shiki shiki zokuze kuku zokuze shiki ju sogyo shiki yaku bunya ze shari shi ze shoho kuso fusho fu metsu fu ku fu jo zo fu genze koku chu mu shiki mu jo sogyo shiki mu gen ni bizet shin ni mu shiki shoko mi soku ho mu ken gai nai shi mu i shiki kai mu mu myo yaku mu myo jin nai shi mu ro shi yaku mu ro shi jin mu ku shu mitsu do mu chi yaku mu tokui mu sho tokko bodai satta e hanya haramita koshin mu kege komu ku fun ri sai tendo mu so kugyo ne han sanze shobutsu e hanya haramita kotoku wa nokutara sanyaku sanbodai kochi hanya haramita zedai shinshu zedai myoshu ze mujo shu ze muto do shu no jo iesei kushin jitsu fu koko zetsu hanya tsu yate yate hara gyate hara so gyate boji sowaka hanya shingyo Neguaku wa kono kodoko motte ama neku isai ni oyoboshi warira toshija tomina tomono butsudo animal liberation no jozen koto jiho sanshi Boshi son bosa Boshi son bosa Mokosa Moko hoja Horo mi We now recite the refuge prayer in Tibetan and then in English, page 8 of the Animal Liberation Temple Prayer Book. Sangye Jadan Tiki Chanam La Janju Padu Tekni Gyepsuchi Daki Jinzo Gepe Sonam Gye Jola Penjer Sangye Juparsho. The Buddha, Dharma, and external assembly of the Sangha. Until I attain enlightenment in these I take refuge. By my practice of the 6 perfections, may all sentient beings attain the state of Buddhahood. We now recite the 4 great Bodhisattva vows, Shigi Seigan. Shujo Muhen Seigando Bono Mujin Seigandan Homon Muryo Seigangak Botsudo Mujo Seiganjo. However numerous sentient beings, I vow to enlighten them all. However inexhaustible my delusions, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the dharmas, I vow to master them all. However endlessly enlightened way, I vow to follow it fully. And we now recite the 6 vows to our dear animal friends. However numerous my dear animal friends, I vow to liberate them all. However diverse the methods of animal liberation, I vow to support them all. However unheard their voices, I vow to speak out for them all. However painful and inexhaustible the method of suffering, I vow to bear witness to them all. However infinite the cages and tanks, I vow to empty them all. However difficult animal liberation, I vow to achieve it completely. We now recite the 100-syllable Vajrasattva purification mantra. Om Vajrasattva Maya Anupalaya Vajrasattva Te No Patita Te Dome Baba Sito Sho Me Baba Sipo Sho Me Baba Anuratu Me Baba Sava Sito Me Priyata Sava Karma Sito Me Tichim Sri Yam Guru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sava Tathagata Vajrama Me Muta Vajri Baba Mahasamamya Safaha. Good morning, Martin. So good to see you. Let us dedicate some prayers to Neil's girlfriends who are just nesting their babies. They seem to do it in the same spot every time. And we just pray for their good health and for for their neighbors to make sure that they leave them be. Bosov Khan. I have such prayer intention for the protection of the people, saving animals in extreme conditions, risking their own lives during the war under bombs and bullets, and also those who leave material things to evacuate animals. Yeah, I think that's a very good prayer intention, Bosla. Let us let us dedicate our own prayers to all of those folks who are, continuing to rescue animals in adverse conditions. And let us pray for those adverse conditions to end quickly. Let us recognize the animal rescuers who leave behind, all of their, material goods and maybe even leave behind some of their own necessities in order to help another sentient being, to help our dear animal friends. Yeah, actually, I did cook some stew the other day, and then I'll probably just be eating that stew throughout the week. So, luckily, because we did get donations this week, I was able to buy a little bit of human food, and hopefully, we'll continue to be able to do that. Thank you, Yolanda, for your care. A couple things I wanted to talk about this week is one is last Monday I was able to go to a vigil, and I got to spend some time with my dear chicken friends who were only moments away from being slaughtered. I got to connect with them and look into their eyes and say as many prayers as I could for them. And I think I've mentioned this before that attending vigils, I believe, is a really important thing for folks to do. I have mentioned before that the first noble truth is that life is suffering. And I believe it to be that this first noble truth is important because it wakes us up to the condition that we suffer ourselves as well as other beings. And I think it's important to wake ourselves up to the gravity of what is happening and to the urgency in which we need to make changes in our world. So I think that bearing witness is very important for that reason. I also think bearing witness is very important to share love and compassion and care for those beings who have probably never witnessed that, who have probably never felt that once in their lifetime. So it's important that we can be there for them in those final moments. And I know it's a very difficult thing, and that with every fiber of our being, we want to free them, and we want to put an end to this and stop this from happening. And this is why it's so important to generate that motivation to do something and to take action. Also, I wanted to, announce that two of the chickens there were given to the activists that day, and so two of those chickens did make it out and are going to sanctuary. I believe another local sanctuary here in Northern California were able to take them in, so that's beautiful that that did happen, and two of them were saved. And I witnessed the workers handing off these chickens to two of the activists there. And I noticed one of those stark differences again, where, witnessing these chickens being pulled out of these cages, they kind of just, most of the time, they just grab them by their feet and rush them out of the cage and onto these terrible hooks. And they just kind of either, grab their legs or their wings or their head, or, they have this little hook instrument where if they get too far away, they can just hook and pull them in. And it's quite awful, a scene to watch. And I think that it's important, again, when I said talk about bearing witness, to bear witness to that type of violence, to see that it is actually a very violent act, slaughter, that it's not something that, that they don't know, or that they're not, horribly abused in their final moments, that, they are not treated with any sort of care or delicately at all. But the moment that they're handed to these activists, I witnessed that these activists take them in their arms, and they, hold the chicken properly, the way you should be holding a chicken, supporting their weight, and keeping their wings close to their body so that they don't hurt themselves. And the moment these activists take these chickens in their hands, I see these chickens push their head into their chest or into their armpit, and snuggle in close. And it's a really beautiful thing to see. And you see them, close their eyes and almost take this breath of relief, like they absolutely know that they're safe finally. They're, for the first time in their lives, they're treated with gentleness. And it's an amazing thing to witness. And I think it's part of bearing witness, not only to the violence, but to the compassion and to the care. And it's so important to see both of those things. So we can see the violence that we oppose, and that we need to wake up to, the suffering that exists in this world that we need to wake up to. And we can see the future in that very same day, in that very same moment, the future where every being, human and non-human, can be treated with compassion and embraced with love and care. Neil's right. Often said, nothing humane ever happens in a slaughterhouse. And that's always, we often are having to, as activists, battling this humane washing and humane labeling, that, I would venture to say nothing that to any domesticated animal is humane until they're removed from that cycle of exploitation. I just wanted to be able to share my experience at the slaughterhouse with folks. It's something that I've kind of tried to do regularly, I think it's an important practice for all of us to engage in if you have the ability to. And if you have never done it and it just seems too extreme or it seems too difficult to watch, I would, remind folks that, when the Buddha started his journey towards enlightenment, he wasn't even able to begin that journey until he saw that life was suffering, until he saw sickness, old age, and death, until he has awakened to the conditions that plague all sentient beings. So I challenge folks to visit these places and to bear witness and to go to vigils so that you too can be awakened to the plight of our non-human animal friends. The other thing I wanted to, bring attention to is Mother's Day, and I've talked about before that every resident here has a mother, and none of our residents are with their mother anymore. And this is because of the exploitation that they undergo. And even in, the best conditions where, I'd like to believe that Bernard led a, pretty unharmful life, and maybe just the circumstances ended up where he was in a shelter. But maybe I'm hoping he was never abused and he was never hurt, and maybe just had a small moment of time where his housing situation was uncertain, and we were able to step in and help him. But even in those best circumstances, where is Bernard's mother, and why was he separated from her? And it's part of the exploitation that we do to even our companion animal friends. It's one of those things I want, to challenge folks to really think about that. That even in companion animal friends, we are often a part of separating families. And is that really the best that we can do? I often am advocating for a very controversial idea, which is that, I don't think, our so-called companion animal friends should even be on this planet anymore. And that while they're here, we should absolutely care for them, and any animal that needs a home, we should love and care for and take care of. But maybe we shouldn't be breeding them into existence anymore at all. Even if we were able to empty every shelter, every shelter in the world, maybe that should be it then, and we should probably stop breeding them into existence. I'm not sure that companion dogs and cats should even exist anymore. And maybe our chickens and cows and pigs that sanctuaries are charged to care for probably shouldn't exist anymore either. I'd like to see a world where we only have wild animal rehabilitation, and we're only caring for animals who tragically lost their mother or their father from unforeseen circumstances and not through human intervention. That us humans stop separating families and stop harming mothers. So on this Mother's Day, I want folks to kind of remember mothers and to think about ways that we can stop harming mothers. Even if you may or may not have a close relationship with your mother, or maybe your mother's no longer here, maybe in her honor, think about ways that we can support other mothers and how we can be a part of not separating families anymore. Yolanda says so many restaurants and fast food places thrive on animal exploitation worldwide, and people not even give a second thought about it. Absolutely agree, Yolanda. And that's why I think it's really powerful. Things like disruption. This is why I support the idea of like going inside of restaurants and disrupting them. And is for that very fact. Everyday violence is occurring and normalized inside of restaurants and grocery stores, and nobody does give a second thought. But when brave activists force that conversation, when they go inside of these restaurants and go inside of these grocery stores and speak up for our non human animal friends, at least for that one day, at least for that small moment of time, usually 5 to 10 minutes, folks are forced to think about the exploitation happening to those animals. And this is why I support the idea of disruption and those types of protests, is that the violence that occurs to our animal friends in these places go unchallenged, and they go unthought of every single day. And at least in those moments, we're forcing that second thought. And yeah, I agree, Pauline. No animal should be bred. I absolutely agree. The other thing I wanted to talk about was how grateful I am for my own mother on this day. I wanted to thank her for raising me to be someone who stands up for injustice. It was something I think that was taught to me at a very young age, was that how important it is when you see something wrong being done, to stand up against that and to stand up for justice and to do the right thing, even when it's the unpopular thing. And I'm very grateful to my mother for teaching me that at such a young age. And I worry that that lesson didn't sink in until much later in my life. But I feel that it's accredited to the compassion and good teachings that my mother imparted onto me. So those are the two things I want to talk about. My mother and all of our non-human animal friends, mothers, and challenge folks to the realization that as humans we are often at fault for separating families, and we should work to change those things. Yeah. Yes, Yolanda. The restaurants are making huge profits through animal exploitation, um, and I think we need to challenge that, and I think we need to work towards a world where that no longer exists. Thank you for the kind words to my mother, Jackie. I really appreciate that. But let us conclude today's services with the recitation of the Animal Liberation uh, Prayer, as well as the dedication of merit, and then we'll attempt to do our sanctuary tour again. I still, don't know how to point the camera in the right direction because we're still dealing with the GoPro and the iPhone, which doesn't have screens that I can see at what I'm pointing at, but we'll try it anyway. Oh, good to see you, Tracy. Thank you for joining from New Jersey. So So nice to see you. I think I've been to New Jersey once. As a visit. And thank you, Neil, for the kind words to my mother as well. We'll now recite the Animal Liberation Prayer, found on page 12, 13, and 14 of the Animal Liberation Temple Prayer Book. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who are subject to unbearable pain in labs throughout the world, be free of all suffering. May alternatives to animal experimentation, vivisection, and dissection be implemented immediately. May bodhicitta, the quality of compassion that leads to enlightenment, fill the hearts of those who imprison them. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who suffer endless days, months, and years, locked in tiny cages unable to move, be filled with peace and calm. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends, who are forcibly taken from their families, be reunited, and may all families be able to stay together. May the hearts of those who work in slaughterhouses, factory farms, and all industries that exploit my dear animal friends be filled with bodhicitta, so the very thought of harm is purified. May they never kill again, and may the slaughterhouse lines, factory farms, and all industries that exploit our dear animal friends become immediately empty. May no animal be afraid or depressed. May their bodies be free of injuries, disease, and illness. May the mutilation of their bodies be forever ceased. May those who need homes or have been driven from them find shelter, plentiful food, and water. May there be liberation for those tortured for fur, entertainment, or who are hunted. May those who believe that they are superior to our brother and sister animals develop perfect equanimity, and may they realize in their hearts that all sentient beings possess Buddha nature, the potential to be completely free of suffering, and that they are not ours to kill or exploit. May the billions of land and sea-dwelling sentient beings who are abused, exploited, and killed due to greed, hatred, and ignorance be free of suffering. May all the nets, hooks, blades, projectiles, traps, snares, cages, pens, tanks, lethal restraints, saddles, reins, prods, bait, poison, and all instruments used to harm, exploit, and dominate our dear animal friends be forever abolished. May all human and non-human sentient beings live together in harmony, peace, equanimity, and achieve perfect enlightenment quickly. May we all experience happiness, safety, freedom, and animal liberation in this very lifetime. And we now recite the Dedication of Merit, pages 16 and 17 of the Animal Liberation Temple Prayer Book. Throughout our many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue we have accomplished, including this aspiration for peace, and all that we will ever attain, this we offer for the benefit of all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends. May suffering, exploitation, and unnecessary death be decreased for every being, while wisdom, bliss, and compassion increase in this and every future life. May we clearly and instantly perceive the plight of our dear animal friends with this urgency and seriousness they deserve, and our every action leads them to complete liberation. May we quickly attain enlightenment and will work ceaselessly for liberation of all sentient beings. All right, 1 second while I get my camera moved. Here we're on iPhone. Oh, I don't know why the sound, no audio. Thank you for letting me know that there is no sound. I wish I could see these comments while I was walking around. Um, I had thought I unmuted the iPhone, but I probably need to work more on getting all that to work correctly. Sorry about the no sound, folks, but I'm happy everybody was able to see our residents. That's so weird. Yeah, I'll work on that. Oh, good morning, Stacy. So good to see you. Thank you for tuning in live. That's very helpful. I really appreciate it. And remember to stick around for our credits at the end of the services. And yeah, I believe that the audio only cut off because I was switching between the iPhone and the Rode mic, and that's not. I don't always do that correctly. I need like a whole tech person to run these services. Sometimes it's difficult to run by myself, um, but that's okay. But yeah, please stick around for the credits. And I want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day and a wonderful week. Please share our live streams and all of our posts. We'll continue to run our fundraiser just because we're still in very desperate need. Oh, hello, April. So good to see you. Yes, I thank you for enjoying our tour. Hopefully, I'll get sound to work next time. But thank you, everybody, again for tuning in this week. At the Animal Liberation Temple, where we are at the service of the spiritual and physical liberation of our dear animal friends.